Erik ten Hag is going to hate to name the starting 11 of Man United as we host Tottenham Hotspur in our first Premier League game of the calendar year of 2024. And welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys and where you're watching us from? I go by the names of Rakan David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on the stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Some players, as we expected them to return, are back, right? So you can as well go into the live chat and really vote for all and really predict and will make your prediction on who is winning this game or who is obviously losing. And then if you think it's a draw, then you can as well alert us on either it's gonna go in favor of everyone. So I've gonna hate to put the poll into the comment section below. I call upon your reactions there, and the rest will be left to me to obviously come in through and obviously put in the shift. We thank God for the gift of life. Smash the like button, comment and share. Big day, and it's a Manchester United day. First game at Old Trafford in 2024. Sir Jim Ratcliffe at Old Trafford already arrived to see to it that everything really goes on as to his plan. Then let's go to the starting 11 of Man United that Erik ten Hag is gonna hate to name. So Erik ten Hag is gonna hate to bring Onana, last game for Man United before he obviously plays for his side of Cameroon into the African Cup of Nations that is tomorrow on Monday. Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Rasmus Højlund, Eriksson, Garnacho, Rafael Varane, Dalot, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Evans, Kobbie Mainoo. That is the starting 11 for the club of Manchester United, and that's how Erik ten Hag is gonna hate obviously name his starting 11 into the mix. Then the substitutes: Ben Dayer, Heaton, Camboala, Martinez, Casemiro, Fosun, McTominay, Pelestri, Anthony. So we've seen Casemiro and Lisandro Martinez return onto the bench of Manchester United. Anthony into the mix, also back onto the bench. Then for Spurs, they're having Vicario, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogi, Højbjerg, Bentancur, Skip, Johnson, Richarlison, and Timo Werner. Timo Werner is going to have to make his debut for the side of Tottenham Hotspur. Remember, he was loaned to Tottenham Hotspur with an option to buy that was not mandatory from RB Leipzig. Then the bench has Foster, Austin, Emerson Rayo, Dragsin, that is the new signee into the central defense. Then Dorrington, Only, Santiago, and Brian. So that is it for the side of Tottenham Hotspur, and that is the starting 11 put up by their manager to face the side of Man United at the Old Trafford. And I hope you guys are really ready to obviously get into what we call the big game match day live and reacting to everything that each and every manager is going to head to obviously put up onto this channel. Now let's obviously go into the starting 11, and it's all about the formation, right? Who is starting where and who is playing where. So we are having the following: Manchester United 4-2-3-1 as usual. That's the system that Erik ten Hag is always gonna hate to obviously use at Manchester United, as you see it there for you. Onana Andre in goal, and he has a lot to do today because Spurs are a team that play a high line, and we just need, sorry about that, Spurs a team that play a high line, and all we need is simple. We need to see to it that we obviously capitalize and really put in a lot of effort into that game, and see to it that he obviously does some good ball distributions, and I don't expect him to be making those erroneous distributions and erroneous saves. So we need to see to it that United really keeps itself in the game. I don't want to see something that really happened when you're playing Aston Villa. Remember, when you're playing against Aston Villa, do you know what happened? What happened was Aston Villa was 2 goals up at halftime, and we had to score 3 goals in the second half. So I don't want us to use a lot of energy in such moments. All I really want us to do is simple. We need to obviously get the first goal and see to it that Spurs opens up as we want, then we hit them on the break. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, right back, obviously, he's going to be really facing the man himself. That is none other than Timo Werner, and anticipate the best out of that. So Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's really one of those players that are going to have to give themselves a chance to really feature for the club of Manchester United, and he's really the right back that you'll obviously want to see to it that he does a job for you on a day like this. Then left back, Diego Dallo, with Shaw back, you expect that Dallo is going to go back onto the right back, I think, in the next game, and Bissaka might be in really big problem because Dallo is really having a very good goal this season, and everyone is going to have to appreciate his input as a player. Then Varane on the right side of the central defense and Evans on the left side of the central defense. That is all about the game of football today, and that's the central defense of Manchester United, and we expect them to obviously face Richarlison and mark him out of the game totally. Then double pivot, Richarlison and Kobbie Mainoo are going to play the double pivot for the club of Manchester United as expected. As I told you, I don't want to see McTominay to this game starting it. And even when we are maybe winning it, we are having options off the bench that can really get us some steal into the midfield. For example, Casemiro, unless otherwise the manager wants to obviously get both Kobbie Mainoo and Eriksen out to really put in some energy. But I would love to see to it that Scott McTominay doesn't play a part into this game, because he's really a player who doesn't deserve to be at Man United. So this was the moment I was waiting for, that I want to say to that Eriksen is back, Casemiro is back, and I see how this guy gets into the starting 11 for the club of Man United, because he doesn't deserve to be there. That is Scott McTominay. So that double pivot is obviously going to be very interesting, and Bruno Fernandes is going to be playing as a central attack midfielder, and that midfield three is going to face Højbjerg, Bentancur and Skip. I think if we are to be really considerate and objective, there is a lot of quality for the club of Manchester United in our midfield three. And when you look on the bench, if at all you have Casemiro, who can obviously come on through, I think we can win the midfield battle at Old Trafford. Garnacho is being played as a right attacking midfielder. You've seen it that every time he's being played onto that side, he really delivers a lot than he delivers onto the right. And the 2 goals he's going to have to put up and an assist in his previous games, he's going to play for Man United, have going to have to come in through from the right. So we anticipate that he goes head to head with Udogie, and Udogie will obviously be put where he deserves by Alejandro Garnacho. And I want to see him skinning him live. That is it. I want to see Garnacho skinning Udogie live today. That's what I want. I hope you two are really waiting to see the same stuff. Then Rashford is playing as a left attacking midfielder. In the previous 3 games of Man United, Rashford has been totally on fire. And what fire has he been totally on? It's all about him scoring 1 and putting up 2 assists, meaning that he has a very high chance of either putting in an assist today and scoring. One of the 2 is going to happen on the side of Rashford, because however much he had a very bad start of the season, looks like in the second half of the season, Rashford is really geared up to the best of the best as a player for the club of Manchester United, and wish him the best today, because if our front 3 can obviously get themselves into the scoring positions, then we can beat very many teams, because we really win second balls, we really win lots of possessions, especially into the final third. Our press is really very good, but our problem has always been not killing off our chances. It has always been a problem, and we need to find a solution to it. And that calls in for Rasmus Højlund, who is leading the line for club of Man United, to be clinical. And I would love to see him really get 3 chances, like he got against Wigan. Though we are playing against a different team altogether, but I think it's all possible to see to it that this guy or this team really creates chances for him to obviously kill them off. And if you are Rasmus Højlund, all you would want is simple. gate to where you deserve to be as far as positioning is concerned. And after positioning yourself very well, then the rest will be history, because we expect a lot of supply, because that midfield will obviously connect to the attack a lot. So as a man who supports Man United, this game comes in through at a very particular time, right time to obviously face Tottenham Hotspur. And for Rasmus Højlund, I think Van der Ven and Sergio Romero are really you can easily score against them, because Christian Romero is one of those players that is really rough, and I think Van der Ven for me is better, because he brings in the press resistance, but I think we have a lot to offer to them, and they have a lot to do at Old Trafford, because if they come up and open up, then a lot will obviously not go onto their side as they might have went ahead to obviously desire. We go to Tottenham Hotspur. Vicario is obviously starting in between the stitches. That is Vicario for you, and he's really one of those people that you'll always praise. He's one of the best goalkeepers, by the way, in the Premier League this season, and if at all I were to make a combined 11, I would put him ahead of Andre Onana, because Vicario is gonna hit obviously show us that he can put in a shift. For Vicario, I think it's a matter of us really loading in those crosses and being consistent onto our attacks. Then right back, Pedro Porro is going to be facing Marcus Rashford. I think Rashford can easily beat off Pedro Porro, but for me, my scale of Pedro Porro is when he obviously surges into the final third of the pitch. You remember the game they played against Burnley, he really scored a howler. He scored a spectacular from the 18 yards box. He went in for a shot and it curled into the back of the net. So he's really good when it comes to those cutbacks, and even when it comes to those shots, his creativity is really high, and we need to see to it that he doesn't obviously surge into that area to obviously cross. That will call upon for Marcus Rashford to really track back, and he has been doing it for the previous 3 games. I'm going to hate to see him feature for the club of Man United. Then Udogie, I told you he's going to face Garnacho, and I think Garnacho has a 100% chance to obviously take off Udogie because of his skill set. Sometimes he cuts inside, and the other times he chops outside. So he's unpredictable when he's playing onto the right wing, because he puts up a lot of effort, and that effort is really very, very, very important for us to see to it that we are really having a man or a player, a teenager from the academy, who can obviously twist, left, right, and dance around and skip past players. That's what I want to see him do. But the first priority, I want it to be for him to look for Rasmus Højlund. He's number 9. Then the rest can happen after he tries to look for number 9. Then Van der Ven and Christian Romero, they're going to face Rasmus Højlund. I really understand that very well, but Rasmus is really a player that you'll obviously agree with me that he can obviously withstand this. Bentaku, CDM, playing as a single pivot alongside Højbjerg and Skip. So this midfield doesn't have a lot of creativity in them. All they have is the energy. That is it. But we can obviously win this midfield. But remember, their first 3 choice midfielders are really out. James Maddison, out because of injury. Pathé Sarr, out because of the African Cup of Nations. He was supposed to be playing for Senegal, and that's where he is. Then there is the other guy that you've always gonna hate to talk about. Yefis Bissouma, out to play for the country of Mali in the African Cup of Nations. So that's why they're really having this midfield 3. Then I think this midfield 3 can easily be outmatched. That is it. Brian Johnson is playing as a right forward. Obviously, Dalot has to do the needful to obviously step him, because he's really a guy who can obviously shine at any moment, and he shoots anyhowly. That's why we should obviously put in a lot of effort to really get him out. Timo Werner, left forward. getting his debut for Tottenham Hotspur, and I really got to know that he was going to start because they are not having Song Heung-min. If you're not having Song Heung-min, then you don't expect everything to go on as planned. 9 is Richarlison, who is obviously leading their line, and if you happen to obviously close down Liverpool, then we should close down Richarlison. But he has been really in brilliant form. He has gone ahead to score 5 in his previous 4 games of the Premier League. So we need to keep a keen eye onto him and not allow him to obviously break through us and obviously score against us. Now, there is a player I'm not going to hate to see for Tottenham Hotspur, that is Kulusevski, onto their bench and not even into the starting 11. That means they're really having a very hard time because that guy creates a lot of chances, and that means their bench is really lacking quality, and most of the players are really academy players that are going to come in through from the bench to obviously attack, meaning that he might really play with a front 3 until the end of the 90 minutes, until the referee blows the final whistle. For Man United, I've gone ahead to see players that can come off the bench and really change this game of football. Casemiro, however much he plays as a CDM, when he comes in through, he can obviously create moments of magic. You know that very well. Anthony, he's returning from injury, and I think with the competition right now and the levels of performances that Garnacho is putting up onto the right attacking side of the midfield, Anthony knows exactly that this is his last chance, because if this season doesn't go on well for him, Ten Hag might lose hope in him. Facundo Pellistri, he's another one that can come off the bench and really change this game of football. Scott McTominay, you know him, what he does. You know, he can come in through and really score you a winner when you really need it. So that is the bench of Man United. But the big question is, where is Amad Diallo? That is the big question. Is he ill again? I'm talking about Alejandro Garnacho Amad Diallo, because I thought he was going to be part of this team of Man United. And you ask yourself as to why the right attack midfielder from Man United is out, yet we are having 2 goalkeepers. That means there is something that has not gone ahead to go on well at the club of Man United. Whether he's really injured or not, God knows, but we really want to know why exactly Amad Diallo is not part of the team of Manchester United. And Ten Hag has said Eriksen can give the pass. He's a smart player. He can make the difference. He scans for those passes and he can give them. He has that ability that not many players really have. That is it. For him, he's really good at passing that ball, and the way he really builds it up from the back is really very important. And that's why we need to obviously see to it that we put in a lot of effort to really get him on the ball, because he rarely loses the ball. But the question is, the energy and intensity should be really one of those things he should add in today. Then Ten Hag said it could be an exciting game, so we have to defend very well to avoid conceding chances. But I think when we do attacking transitions well in our possession, we can take some joy from it. So transitions are really very important, and this is how we went ahead to obviously beat Aston Villa. And I think it's in the same fashion and formula that Erik Ten Hag wants to obviously beat this side of Spurs, unless otherwise Spurs plays what we call a low block. But I don't expect that to happen, because even when they went at Man City, they never at any time played a low block. They really went ahead to put in a shift that everyone went ahead to appreciate, and that game ended 3-3. Then Ten Hag said it's good that players are returning, Casemiro, Lisandro Martinez, and we also hoped to have Luke Shaw, but he dropped out at the last minute. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, no matter who is coming in, we have to win. So I think the most important people are Casemiro and Lisandro Martinez making to the bench. Seeing them return is really a joy. You know, it leaves us with a smile from one ear to the other, because we obviously know what those two mean to the club of Man United, because they were the spine of what United did last season, and we all admit that they went ahead to put in a lot of effort. Then he said on Spurs that Tottenham play with a high line, and we have seen the qualities from Christian Eriksen against Villa, what we can do for the team, to see the pass and to give the pass. So all Ten Hag is planning for is simple: go in for that over the top ball, or press them in the midfield, because I think Bentancur is one of the press resistant players having that midfield. But Skip and this other guy, Skip and Højbjerg, I think when you press them, they cannot act well in small pockets of space. So we can obviously find ourselves in better positions of really winning this beautiful game of football. Then Ten Hag concluded and said, when you have quality players back, that is good for the team and good for the team. At the end of the day, the quality of the players makes the difference. That is it. That is it. If you're having quality players, there is no way you'll fail to obviously win your game, unless otherwise things don't go on as planned. But I can tell you, if they go on as planned, we obviously need to do the needful and really kill off this game as up. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe is obviously one of those in here to obviously take on the best of Man United and really watch us do the game of Tottenham Hotspur. He's here and he's here to win. Opara Francis, Man United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. All right. Ode Alan Ivan, Man United to win. I also really think that a win is going to go onto the side of Manchester United. Ending the poll gets us 94% win for the club of Man United, 5% it's a draw, and 0% are going to hate to call in for a win of Tottenham Hotspur. So people don't think that Spurs can really take away this game. But in the game of football, everything is possible. And let's wait and see how this happens. Rock and David remains my name. That has been my match day live. And we're going to return when the game is done with what we call a match reaction. Nigeria is going to hate to draw 1-1 with Equatorial Guinea. And Egypt is coming up to play. So let's get into these games and see how everything pans out. In the next 17 minutes, the game will have to kickstart. The Muslims Barak